How are things today? How is everybody doing? Having a little bot trouble today. I'm not sure what's going on. I have been tinkering with it a little bit, but hang in there with me. We'll get through it. Today we're going to do some live coding, some good old-fashioned live coding, and a couple of things I want to work on. ASP.NET Core and .NET Core 3.0 have just been released this week. They were announced at .NET Conference and they're available this week. So I've made some changes to the project, which started as an ASP.NET 2, ASP.NET Core 2.x project, and not some major changes, but I have made some changes to that, and I want to continue down some unit testing. You know, we have a little bit of debt. Some of my bot commands are not unit tested yet, and now that we've switched to mediator pattern, or to mediator and mediator pattern, I think we can commit to writing some unit tests for those. And once we get the unit tests in place, I have some refactoring that I want to explore today. So we're going to work with some of those things and show you some of the things that I've worked on last night that might be interesting in terms of fakes and mocks and stubs and that kind of thing. All right, so if you're joining us for the first time, I say this every single stream. The only stupid question is you don't ask. So if you're in the chat room, ask away. No matter how simple you think the question is or how silly you think it is, it's not. It'll be something interesting, and you will not be made fun of in this channel. I won't stand for that kind of business. So ask the question, and we'll get talking about it. We'll get answering it the best we can. I am part of Team Live Coders, so let's bring up the old browser here. See who's streaming right now. So Lana Lux. Wow, we got a lot of people on from the team streaming right now. So we might raid one of these later. We've raided Lana before. I don't know if I've raided Tyler before or not. So we'll see who's still online by the time the chat's over, and we'll raid somebody. I got a great raid yesterday from, oh, who was it? It was Pixelogic Dev. A big raid from Pixelogic Dev, so I'd like to pass that along if we can. What else? Awesome Developers streaming list. So if you go to github/bnb/awesome developer streams, this is a text file that contains a list of developers who do some live coding on all different platforms, Twitch or Mixer or whatever, and all the different topics that they tend to stream about. So if you're interested in a particular topic, you can go here and find several people probably who are live coding or doing stuff on their stream around technology of your choice. Or if you want to learn about some technology, you're not sure where to start, you can find one of those keywords. So if you want to learn about Python, for instance, find someone who's streaming about Python. If you are doing some live coding, then you should submit yourself to this list as well. This is just a GitHub repository, text file. You can submit away to that. All right, what else we got? Yes, my archive of my old episodes are on YouTube. They are on Twitch for a while. You can watch them there, but you can also view the archive on YouTube. That's bit.ly/GrovesTube. Check out the old episodes. Tuesday's episode was pretty good. We had a nice, big, interactive audience. We did some really interesting stuff with unit testing and mocking and Couchbase, of course. You know, I do a lot of back-end Couchbase database stuff on here. So that's the kind of cool stuff we did on Tuesday. TwitchBot is on right now. Like I said, it's a little wonky, but you can see it under the video here if you're watching at twitch.tv. There are some commands you can try out. Some of them are subscriber only, but some of them are for anybody to try. And give you an idea of the current project, for instance, which should point to the TwitchBot. It does. And you know, we might try some other functionality here today, so we'll see how that works. But one of the things I implemented last night was sound effects, and don't seem to be working. So for instance, if you hit laugh, that should trigger a laugh track sound effect, and it's just not happening. So I don't know why that is. It looks like there's a JavaScript error. Oh, interesting. So maybe I'll just bring this over here, and maybe we can start there. But let me finish my little spiel here. What else we got? Yeah, so Tuesday I did a live webinar about using a Couchbase server for a session store in your ASP.NET application. So if you're interested in storing data in a session, especially if you have a scaled web architecture, so a web farm, multiple web servers behind a load balancer, for instance, this session, you might want to check this out because it'll tell you all about kind of how session works with ASP.NET and some of the approaches, the default approach, storing it in memory, using a load balancer, sticky sessions, all that kind of stuff. And of course, it talks about using Couchbase as a session provider as well. So that was live on Tuesday, but the recording should be available if you go here, http://bit.ly/ASP.NET session. Notice the casing here. It's important, ASP, capital N, net, capital S, session. And you can also sign up for next week's live webinar, which will be on user profile, which is a very interesting use case for a document database. So check that out if you're interested, bit.ly/ASP.NET session. There's an official URL that's much longer and harder for you to type, so just check that one out. All right. So we did some scavenger hunt stuff on Tuesday as well. That's what we did. We did a lot of that. We did... I put some content in there for the scavenger hunt. That's going to be for an upcoming event. And we did a little bit of interactive trivia. That was kind of fun. So we might revisit that at some point. But I'm going to, these are kind of boring issues here. I'm not going to talk about these today. I'm going to work on those on my own time, or non-stream time later. I just need to get those taken care of. But what I want to look at today is some stuff I've been doing with these new command ideas. So we talked about this one on Tuesday, the Calvin entering the room. And that one I've put on hold because of the way the Twitch API works. We may not be able to do this. But what I did pursue was these. And this was, you would type in a command like laugh or rimshot, and it would cause a sound effect to play on my live stream. And what I needed to use SignalR for that because this is going to be a command that you type into a chat window, and ASP.NET's going to, well, my .NET process, my background process is going to see that command, and then it needs to communicate up to a web page to play a sound effect. Because playing a sound effect on the server itself isn't going to be what we want. So we need to play it in a browser on the client side. And one way to notify the client to say, hey, play the sound, is we'll use SignalR to send a message back up to the web page. So we're communicating from C# over to JavaScript. So I want to look at that a little bit today. And I want to examine what went wrong here. So it seems like it's sending the correct command. And you can see here it's erroring on audio.play. Which is curious because I know that worked when I was testing yesterday. But it's an uncaught exception. So I have to kind of wonder what that's about. But I think I might know what it is actually. So let me so what I actually did was I added some media files here. This is just some public domain sound effects I found for laughing and for a rimshot. And I put those in a media folder. Now I tried this yesterday and it worked, but so let me just double check here. If we go to the web, and this is where I run the project, the media files are there. Okay, so they are definitely there. Let's just do it manually then. We're going to do it here in the console. Let's start with this. So media laugh mp3, and then audio.play. Okay, and you heard that one, so that worked. So then the question is, why didn't it work when I hit the laugh command in the chat window there? That is curious. So we can maybe set like a breakpoint here and try it again. See if this, I think this should cause a breakpoint to get hit. It does, okay. File name is media laugh mp3, that's right. Oh, another raid. Tyler Lenart with a raid of 17 people. Hello. I don't have anybody. We just kind of started, so no one's really here to defend. Let's. I'm going to try to defend myself. This is. Sometimes people mistake this as my head. It is Actually, Calvin Allen, one of my frequent chatters here, one of my mods as well. And this is him saying bada bing, bada boom. So welcome everybody. We're doing some ASP.NET, we're doing some SignalR, we're doing some testing maybe today. So thank you everybody for joining. And if you've got questions, ask away. And you can also look at the bottom of the screen for some of the chatbot commands if you want to see the project I'm working on. If you've never been to this channel before, welcome. Thank you for coming. But I do a lot of back-end stuff on this channel, ASP.NET, C#, .NET, and databases, specifically NoSQL databases, Couchbase, writing SQL queries, and that kind of stuff. But I am dipping into a little bit of client-side today with SignalR, which is a way of communicating from the back end to the front end using WebSockets or long polling or what have you. So Tyler, how was your stream today? Anything interesting you guys are up to? You maybe want to talk about what you were doing there in the chat, and let's see if this shout out command works. Something that we'll see if that happens. Hey, look at that! It works. Awesome. Rudix World, Couchbase, neat. Why not Couchdb? Oh boy. So, this is probably one of the most common questions I get. So Couchbase and Couchdb are not the same thing. Yeah, the laugh isn't working just yet, Shane. This is actually one of the issues. Oh, I guess it just worked. I don't know what happened. There's maybe some sort of race condition here. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, they're not the same. They're not the same thing. They both have couch in the name. Well, I'm an employee of Couchbase would probably be the main reason that I like to focus on Couchbase. But Couchbase has some really great features that I like, that really appeal to me. My background is in ASP.NET, SQL Server, web development, and so I have a long history of writing SQL. My very first job I wrote SQL queries for, and I like the appeal of there's NoSQL databases appeal to me, have always appealed to me. But I was always kind of nervous about the whole thing with writing queries. And then I discovered Couchbase, where I can actually write SQL queries in Couchbase. And I can actually show you this because the chatbot right now is storing the messages in the chat, most of the messages in the chat, to a Couchbase database. So I think we're in the right one here. Yeah. So you can see Twitch chat here. I've got 1,900 chat messages in there. Oh, let's see, Tyler, it was good you fixed a bug in PowerShell editor services. That's pretty cool. And you messed around with, I'm guessing, PowerShell Kubernetes CTL. How do you say that? Kube control? And played around with Helm for a bit. That's really awesome, Tyler. I might need to pick your brain on a Kubernetes because Couchbase has a Kubernetes operator. And I really want to learn about how to deploy a Couchbase cluster alongside an ASP.NET application, like together in one sort of Kubernetes cluster. So thanks for the follow, Rudix World. I appreciate that. But yeah, this is one of my favorite things about Couchbase is I can actually write SQL queries in it. And this is Couchbase's SQL implementation. It's called N1QL. That's N1QL. Nickel is how it's pronounced. Yes, there is a Couchbase package on Helm as well. It's an official one that's newer, actually. We did the Kubernetes operator some time ago. We have a 1.0 version of that. And then we just recently released a Couchbase package on Helm. So both operator and Helm are there. Is it stable / Couchbase operator? Maybe. It could be. You are using Couchdb, and nowadays PouchDB. Okay, that's cool. PouchDB is pretty cool. There's actually a way, and I don't know how supported this is, but there's a way you can use PouchDB and use that client-side and use Couchbase server-side. Couchbase has a mobile database offering as well called Couchbase Lite. So let's see, you use couches and DBs, but have yet to join the two. Yes, I am also a frequent user of couches. PouchDB is so sweet. Yeah, Couchdb is nice. It runs right there in the browser. It can run in. It's a JavaScript implementation, client-side implementation of Couchdb, and you can basically use that as a base of a PWA application, right? So you have offline capabilities. You can read and write to Couchdb, and it can sync up with Couchdb, or as I said, you can also have it sync up with Couchbase. Rudix World is using LevelDB. That's one I've not checked out before. I don't know much about LevelDB. All right, so anyway, what's the future of Couchdb? I have no idea, Rudix World. I'm not. Couchbase and Couchdb are not really related. Couchdb is an Apache project, and Couchbase is a Couchbase Incorporated project. So they're not really related. I couldn't tell you what Couchdb future is. Tyler, thank you much for the raid. I appreciate it. Oh, TwitchCon, have a good time at TwitchCon. Maybe I'll make it to one of those one of these years. But enjoy, Tyler. Have a good time there, and thank you very much for the raid. Anyway, so what I was doing a Twitch chat. I just wanted to just do a count here, just a simple count from Twitch chat. So I can just write a SQL query against this Twitch chat bucket and get all kinds of information. I don't know yet what I'm going to do with all this chat information. Maybe some machine learning or some dashboards, or maybe we can have some sort of display on the screen that shows live activity. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. We're going to get there. But right now I'm just in data collection mode. Every message gets saved into this Twitch chat bucket since when I started this chatbot. So speaking of chatbot, let's go back over to, where was I? I was over here, and we were debugging this. So let's try this, because it worked. Let's just try this again without the breakpoint. So I'm confused because now it's working. Someone else want to try, let's see. Someone else could try Rimshot maybe? We can see if that one works. Just exclamation point Rimshot. See what happens. Great, it worked. Hopefully you're all hearing that as well. It's playing for me. I think it's also being picked up on Streamlabs. So it sounds like that works. So I don't quite understand why this was giving me problems when I first tried it. It's working now, so I don't know. It could have been a caching issue, I guess. Not really sure. But there you go. So this is my chatbot. It's just a, thank you very much, Shane. This is just a white screen right now. Nothing's actually appearing there. And I've not actually integrated that into Streamlabs yet, but we could. And so this is like a blank canvas right now. It's just playing sound effects. We could have it display some things on the screen here that'll be picked up in the stream. We'll get there. But one thing I wanted to look at is this is my project. So ASP.NET Core 3.0 was just released this week, and I wanted to update to ASP.NET Core 3. I think I've been in the preview version for a while, but this project has been 2.x. So I wanted to switch it over to ASP.NET 3, and there was a few minor things I had to change in response to that. So some of them you actually see those in the in the source control, which I might not have pushed yet. But this is an open source project, by the way. If you do current project, you'll see the GitHub link for that. But these are some of the changes I had to make, and I'm not sure I'm 100% there yet. But these are the changes I had to make to get ASP.NET Core 3 support. So one of the things was this compatibility version. When I'm adding MVC, the compatibility version I had before was 2.2. And so that gave me a deprecation error, and I had to change it to 3.30. So I'm not exactly sure what that is. So if anyone knows what that means, I haven't looked it up yet. I'm sure it's well documented, but I had to change that. The other thing, and I knew about this one already, was in the configure method in startup, there previously was you could access the hosting environment and the application lifetime with those two interfaces. Those are deprecated. And I don't know why, what the difference is between them, but you have to change those to web host environment and host application lifetime in order to continue using those. Other than that, I just changed the names of the types of those parameters. Nothing else had to change. And the other thing is that previously I had this app.use MVC, and I supplied the default routes to it. The app.use MVC is changed a little bit. You have to, if you want to use that, you have to enable something else or turn off some other functionality. So the alternative to that now is to app use endpoints. And it's just the default route in there as well. But also as app.use routing. So I had to add that in there. This is a MVC web application. It's only really one endpoint right now. It's the home page that I showed you with the sound effects. For now, we'll see what else we have to add. The other thing I noticed is this is something I just added recently. I added Signal R very recently. That's the thing that helps with the sound effects. I had to refactor that. So up here it says app.use Signal R. I changed that to be endpoints.maphub within the app. Within the use endpoints, but otherwise it's pretty much the same. The same hub is going there. So that's some of the minor things I changed there. I also I changed the target framework from 2.2 to 3.0. That's a pretty self-explanatory one. And then I could remove these two package references. Visual Studio just gave me the hints. It said, hey, you don't need these in here anymore. You can go ahead and take them out. So I did. Nice. Thank you, Visual Studio, for that. What else did I do? I put a route tag on here. I don't know if that's necessary, but I was experimenting with the routing stuff, so I just left that in there. And finally, in the core project, I don't know if I need to do this either, but I changed it from .NET Standard 2.0 to .NET Standard 2.1, and that didn't require me to make any other changes other than that one CS project there. So I'm going to go ahead and push these up to GitHub. Oops, not pull. I'm going to do a git push. So these will go up to GitHub. So if you want to check out the full source code for this is now an ASP.NET Core 3.0 project. And if you do bang current project there in the chat room, you'll get a link to that. So there we go. So what else? What else are we up to here? So there's a couple of things we could do. We could look at unit tests. Would be one thing we could do. We could also look at writing new unit tests. We could look at some of the existing unit tests. I had to do some interesting stuff with fakes and mocks there. If we want to check that out. We could also pursue the sound effects features that I added. So thankfully none of you have abused this yet. I appreciate that. But currently this will make a sound effect for every single time you enter the command. TBD Gamer, hey, thanks for stopping in. TBD, becoming a regular around here. Might have to give you some mod access soon if you keep showing up every day. How's it going? But I want to throttle the sound effect thing because otherwise it could get easily abused. So, maybe only every 5 minutes, or once a laugh or a sound effect is played, it can't be played again for another 5 minutes, something like that. So that might be something we could work on. TBD Gamer, I'm doing okay. I'm doing just fine. Having some fun here with the bot. You can go ahead and try this yourself if you want to. Hit the bang laugh or bang rim shot.
Bing, bada, boom.
Hey, thank you for the follow, SG Guy 1. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, we're not laughing at you, SG Guy. That's just a test. And Michael Jolly stopping in as well. A rim shot train going. Yeah, I don't. Romero 126. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. So I shouldn't have mentioned it. I'm just inviting abuse. But need to figure out. So I think maybe I've answered the question. There is we need to figure out how to throttle that. So there's two approaches to throttling this. You're all having too much fun. There's two approaches to throttling this, and let me see if I can show you. So not Twitch Hub, but if I want to go to Sound Effect Handler, we could, so much fun, we could do some throttling here on the server side. So we could save some data somewhere. Not sure if we're saving in the database or somewhere else, maybe in the session store. I don't really know. This isn't tied to ASP.NET. but we could throttle it here. The other option is we could throttle it on the client side. So I've got a JavaScript file here. I just called hub, and this is where it actually receives the message from the server side and says, okay, if it's laugh, then play this one. If it's rimshot, then play this one. Otherwise, just do nothing. So we could also throttle it here. So this could just be, we wouldn't have to use a database. For this one, we could just throw it into a cookie the last time the sound effect was played, and then check that cookie. Or it doesn't have to be cookie. It could be local storage. We could just throw something in local storage and just check against that. Yes, having a lot of fun with the sound effects. So I don't know. What do you think? Client-side approach or client-side approach, or shall we do a server-side approach? I'm kind of inclined to do client-side approach because I won't necessarily have to redeploy this app in order to get it to start working and stop the abuse here. However, if it's server-side, we could also do some things like, oh, if you're a mod, you could laugh as much as you want to. You could rimshot as much as you want to. Or if you're a subscriber, for instance. Michael Jolly votes no limits. Sound effects seem to distract you. Right now, they're a little distracting, yes. I probably would get used to them. But I think it could also be distracting for people watching as well. If it's just a stream, just a torrent of laughs and rimshots and whatever other sound effects come up with. By the way, if you have sound effect suggestions, I'm open to adding new ones. These are really easy to add. Yeah, a raid would be a problem because if everyone raids and hits the laugh, although that's not such a bad thing, right? If it's a raid, although maybe we have a raid sound effect where it plays like a what do you call it? Like a klaxon or something. Maybe it flashed something on the screen like raid, raid, raid. It might be fun. All right, so let's do a siren, sure, like an air raid siren. Get random raid sound. Yeah, all options. But let's start with some throttling, and I think we're going to use local storage for this. So I'm going to have to remember how to use local storage with JavaScript. I haven't done this in a while. You know what the monkey said when its tail got cut off? No, Michael Jolly, what did the monkey say when its tail got cut off? It won't be long now. I think that's more like a rim shot, yeah. All right, local storage. So we've got local storage and session storage. I think local storage is what I want. So all we have to do is just say set item and give it some value. So for instance in here, we could say laugh throttle. This would probably be after the sound effect is played. Maybe laugh throttle, and we give it a date. So how do we get, Michael Jolly, maybe you know this, how do we get current date in JavaScript? I'm showing my lack of front-end knowledge. Get current timestamp, basically. It doesn't matter what format it's in, as long as it's, you know, I can check date.now. Is that it? Easy as that. Another raid? Oh no. No one tell them. Don't tell them. Thank you for the raid, Lamp Web Dev. Oh no. We're going to have a whole wave of sound effects here. But thanks for stopping in. We're working on trying to throttle these sound effects so they can't be so easily abused. We can do laugh throttle date.now. And so far, it's not going great. Actually, I think it might make more sense to put it here. And then we can just say, sound effect name plus throttle, like this, and put a date in there. And so then, at this point, whenever the audio plays, it's going to save the current date into a throttle value, which is going to be pinned to the sound effect name. So it might be rim shot throttle or laugh throttle, that sort of thing. And then all I need to do up here is just say if, I don't know, if we need to figure out throttle per user or per stream. Yeah, it's going to be per stream. Because otherwise, if we have a raid of 20 people, although I don't know, there could be an argument made per user. No, I haven't actually. I got to refresh the page before it'll actually work, and I got to put the if statement in there, so we can see if, say, throttled equals. So we want to say is we want to get the throttle timestamp equals. How do we do a get in local storage? We can just say get item, local storage.get item. So it's get item and set item. So get item, sound effect name, throttle, something like that. This is really getting to the point where I might need to introduce some unit tests here. Yes, LAMP WebDev, thank you. I'm not much of a front-end developer. For those of you rating with LAMP Dev, I'm much more of a back-end developer. So Romero says case per user prevents abuse but allows all users to access the sound. Yeah, that might be fair enough. Although I'll have to change this to retrieve the username from Signaler as well. Let's start with per stream, and we can refactor it to add in per user. All right, so I've got the timestamp that's out of. Now, what happens if that item is not in there? If there isn't, if this key is not in local storage, is that going to be a null or an undefined? No judgment. I can't develop my way out of paper bag. Well, when it comes to back end, I feel a little more comfortable. I still have to look stuff up, but when it comes to front end JavaScript, I've been out of practice for a while. So I'm going to assume this is going to be undefined or null or something. So I'm just going to put an if statement there to see if it's truthy or not. What's with all the red squiggles? Yeah, I know it's an empty block statement. Just give me a second, Visual Studio. And then we're going to say, so if that timestamp is set, and then we're going to say if, how do we do a diff between dates? Can we do a date diff? JavaScript date diff. Good old Stack Overflow. Let's see. There's probably a library for this. Date now minus date timestamp. Just do a minus. Is that all it needs to? We just need to do date dot now minus throttle timestamp, and then we can say if the diff is greater than. Let's see. If the diff is less than some threshold, then we're just going to straight up return. Otherwise, it's going to keep going. So we need to set the threshold. And I could set, I could set it right here. There's no reason to hoist it up that far. Threshold. And so my question then, Romero, thank you for the help. What is this diff going to be? Is this going to be an integer, a number, I guess, or a long? Or is it going to be a string? People usually use Moment.js. Yeah, Moment.js is a good choice for dealing with date time stuff. So we may, again, let's get it working first. I may refactor to use Moment. But let's see. So threshold, let's just say, is an object? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's going to be. I spelled threshold wrong. So let's put some console.logs in here. Checking throttle. Put it in here, so we'll say throttle has been set, and We're going to put a comment here, not playing sound effect. If the sound effect plays, of course, then we'll hear that. Let's see. Or the cool kids use date FNS, date functions. Is that a different library, or is that part of like the latest ECMAScript version or something? I don't know. Like I said, I am way out of things here. All right, so I'll bring up my date FSN date functions org. It's a library. Okay. Modern JavaScript date utility library. I've not used this, not heard of this, so thank you for sharing with me. I've definitely heard of Moment before. I've used that before, back when I did a lot of front-end stuff. Because I know it's been a while, it's been years, so JavaScript may have improved, but it is a real pain in the neck. Yeah, C# is a time span. I could definitely deal with this better if it was C#. I would have a better handle on how dates work in C#. Dates are always a pain in the neck. Moment was frowned upon for being too heavy. Did they fix that? Whoa, I don't know what too heavy means. You know, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that would be the trade-off there. Maybe date functions is slimmer. It's still heavy or too bloated, I would say. Okay, well, I'm not here to pass judgment on Moment. I've used it in the past, and it has been terrific. And if Moment for a given threshold, if a library is popular enough, it's going to be cached on a CDN somewhere. So I'm not too worried about the footprint, and especially not for this site, which is just all running locally right now. Looks like milliseconds. Okay, so milliseconds, this would be 5 seconds then, right? It's probably enough for us to test. Okay, let's go back here, refresh, and we'll just open up the console. All right, and let's try it. It's not really throttling, so I'm doing something wrong. Oh, it was the JavaScript's cached, of course. Of course it was. Okay, so let's see. Now I'm stepping into this. We'll just see if it works how I expect. So yeah, we got the file name. There's the file name. It's laugh. Checking the throttle. The throttle. So it's null. So the data is not in there. Hey, Lamp Web Dev, thanks for stopping by. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. Have a good one. So threshold is just going to basically be ignored because it's null. So it's going to play it. Interesting that it didn't step into the set item. I wonder if there's some sort of asynchronous stuff going on here. So it looks like Shane just triggered it again. So let's walk through it here, see what happens. Okay, it's set now. So must have been set. Throttle has been set, and the diff is 32,429. Threshold is 5,000. So that's weird. Diff is less than threshold, but that diff's just going to get higher, though, right? Another laugh coming in. Thank you all for hitting the laugh at convenient times. So let's just see. I think this diff is where the problem is. Yeah, now it's 13,000. So that... I think I may have something wrong here with the way I'm thinking. This diff needs to be greater than the threshold. I think that's right. Let's set this to what's 30 seconds, something like that. 30,000. Is that right? Yeah, 30,000. Let's do a refresh here. Okay. Rim shot. Oh, I still got the breakpoint set. Rim shot. That's interesting. Local storage.get item, and what was it again? I've got laugh throttle and rimshot throttle. And they're both being stored. It's got to be something with this calculation. This part right here. This has got to be the issue. So we've got date.now minus this. 58,000, that seems awfully high. That's nearly a minute if we're talking milliseconds. Diff less than threshold. Yeah, okay. If diff less than threshold. Okay, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Okay. All right, let's try her again. Success. So now it should wait for 30 seconds, roughly. And then another rimshot will be allowed to be played. So it seems to be working. So we're throttling it on the client side. That's great. And this will even survive a refresh because it's local storage. So local storage will still be there no matter what. So, okay, I think we got the throttle working. We're going to wait. We're going to wait out 30 seconds a little bit here. Let's see if we can bring the timer. And we'll just put in 30 seconds now. I know it's past that. Oh, were you counting it down? Because it just worked again. But now it's not. So if we wait 30 seconds here, it should be able to happen again. I don't know if 30 seconds is the right interval, but it's a place for us to start. Okay. That's annoying. Okay. I think it's working. I beat you to it, Romero. But I think that's working. Great. So that is good. That is really good. Now the question is, what should the threshold be? I don't know. I think 5 minutes is probably a fair threshold time to start with, especially if we're going to break it up by user. Every 5 minutes you can do a rim shot or a laugh. So it's not enough to really abuse it. And of course, if you're really being obnoxious about it, I can deal with it other ways, right? We're still living in a society. So we have 5 minutes times 60 seconds times 1,000. All right. So what is that? 300 times 1,000. So that's 300,000 milliseconds. Does that sound right? Does that math add up? 300,000 milliseconds to minutes. Yep, 5 minutes. I did the math right there. Good for me. Let's put a little comment here. 5 minutes. Okay, and we can get rid of these console logs, I think. All right. One other thing I probably want to do, I'm still concerned about this audio.play being asynchronous. I'm not sure if it is or not. I don't really know. I've never used this before. It seems like it probably should be asynchronous, right? So I'm going to set the local storage before the audio actually plays. Okay. All right, so that's looking good. Now you want to do, so we're going to get rid of this comment. And we're going to get rid of this comment. So we're actually throttling now. Probably, let's do a, let's make this to a function, I think, because this is getting a little bit fat right here. So let's make a couple functions here. Let's say get sound effect file name. And we're going to say sound effect name. Just doing a little bit of refactoring. So we're going to move this over here. Probably should have some unit tests for this. I don't have any JavaScript unit test stuff in place yet. Sound effect name. Oh, this just needs to be return. Like this. Return like this. Whoa. And then if nothing, we'll just do a return nothing. Get sound effect file name. Sound effect name. Okay. Easy enough. And then we say if, let's just say, we'll say if not file name, and just return. So we'll put like a little guard clause there. All right, and now we can say, how do we want to do this? We can say if throttled, and then we can pass in a key, right? This would be like this, throttle key. If not throttled, then play the sound effect. How's that sound? Function throttled throttle key, something like that. And this needs to be a capital T. That code in here, so the throttle timestamp equals, and we'll just give this throttle key. We don't have to actually build it there. We could probably make a throttle duration as a parameter or something like that, but anyway, all this is the same except this throttle key stuff goes to there. Okay, so we've slimmed it down a little bit. We've given it some more meaningful function names, so that this is a little more readable for us coming back and looking at this later. I don't have a unit test, so we're going to have to just test this, see if it works. I broke it. I broke the darn thing. What did I do wrong here? Sound effect name plus throttle. Set item. Oh, because it's got to return. It's got to return a boolean. Doh. Okay, so return false here and return true here. Right. So this would be. Let's call this is throttled. Typo on threshold. Is there a typo on threshold? Where is the typo on threshold? This green squiggle, if that's what you mean. Yeah. Well, Visual Studio is telling us it's a typo. I don't, because I'm not camel casing it, I guess. That's fine. We can do that. Okay. So if it's not throttled, then play it. No, don't apologize, CBD Gamer. It's fine. Okay, let's try this. See if this works. Still broken. Hey, Coding Gorilla. What's going on? We're messing around with sound effects right now. This is coming from SignalR, and I'm trying to throttle them so they don't get abused. What am I doing wrong here? So if it's under the threshold, then return false. I got this backwards? Should it be return true here? Yeah. Coding Gorilla also becoming kind of a regular. Appreciate you all stopping in, saying hi on this lovely Thursday afternoon. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I need to take a short biological break. Sorry, it's a bad timing here, Coding Gorilla, but I'll be quick. So let me switch over to the taking a break screen. And oh, it's your last day of the week? You only work a 4-day week, or do you work like, I don't know, you work on Saturday, so you take Friday? Oh, 4-day weekend. Oh, some sort of holiday. Cool. You've been lurking for 20 minutes. Took some vacation. That sounds great. That sounds really great. I've got my next planned vacation is coming up in April, going on a cruise. But I need to take a quick break. I'll be back as soon as possible. I'll put on some music here for you. Let's see. We've got some jazz music. Let's go with that. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Too much coffee today. Okay, I was thinking about it, though, and I think I've got this backwards. This needs to return true because I changed this name to is throttled. So if the diff is less than the threshold, then that means we are throttling it. This is going to return false, meaning it's not throttled. So I think that's going to do the trick. You all probably figured that out. You're just like this guy. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. There we go. Okay, so got that working. And I'm going to go ahead and just check that in. So we added, took away that comment, and we updated this hub here. And so we've implemented throttle. Yes, okay. Implemented client-side sound effect throttling. All right, so now knock yourselves out with the sound effects. Go hog wild. And if you've got more suggestions, someone said, what else did we say? There was, someone suggested a sad trombone. I think that was Michael Jolly, although I feel like he has that in his channel already. So I don't want to just straight up rip off Michael Jolly. But sad trombone was one, and what was the other one? I thought someone else mentioned one. I'm scrolling back through the chat buffer here. So, oh, like a raid siren. Yeah, so I don't know. We can do sad trombone. I can kind of show you how this process works. This is real easy. The hardest part is finding a sound effect, but I think I left myself some breadcrumbs here. freesound.org. Squirrel.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, Code Stencil. That's a pretty cool name, Code Stencil. Sad trombone. if we're into ripping off people's sounds, squirrel. So like Fritz and others, they have the little soundboards where you push the button, kind of like you're a morning DJ, and it plays a sound effect. And that's cool and everything. I think it's a little more fun to leave that to the people in the channel to make the sound effects. All right, so what have we got here? These, from what I can tell, freesound.org, these are all free as in attribution or public domain sound effects. And my attribution is right here in JavaScript. Here's a link to it. Hopefully that's good enough that I'm not going to get sued. But let's see if these are any good. Pretty good, but a little bit long. What else we got here? Not bad. Those are all pretty good. What else we got? Oh my, that's a long one. This one's called fail. Don't quite get that one. All right, so these are the options here. I think that's option 1. Option 2. Oh, and this one up here is. Oh, let's start this over again. Okay, this is option 1, the longest one. Option 2, option 3. So any particular affinity to any of these sound effects? Because I'm inclined to go with this middle one here. You like number 2, Coding Gorilla? All right, let's go with that one. We can always change it later. Okay, and I'll save this. Code Stencil also says number 2. Okay, looks like I picked the right one. Where Twitchbots, web, root, media. I'm just gonna call this sad trombone. .mp3. Okay, so on the server side, I'm doing a check to make sure that's a legitimate sound effect. My hosted service, do I also check here? I do. So this is going to get a little bit out of control. Because there's going to be too many of these, but they're all kind of the same. Line x equals sad. Well, let's just start when x starts with, because we could say sad trombone or sad trombones. So let's just say starts with sad trombone. Return new sound effect. Sad trombone. This needs to be a colon here. Okay, so I call it here sad trombone. This is kind of a double check to make sure that the request being passed in is valid. I might change this to enumeration at some point. Refactor this. If we go crazy with the sound effects, you know, I don't want to have to add a case statement for every single sound effect. So right now it's fine. So sad trombone gets passed up to here via signal R, and we will add another if statement here. If sound effect name, hello, sound effect name equals sad trombone. Then we're going to return media / sad trombone mp3. I need to attribute that right here. Right, it is sad trombone, singular, right? Yes, okay. And this should have a value. We'll turn empty string, that's fine. Okay, so that'll work. I do need to do a recompile, so I think I'd have to shut down the chatbot for a second to redo that. So I'll go ahead and do that. Which means any message you type now will not be saved. At some point, we'll set this up to actually deploy to an Azure website or something. But right now, this is all running locally on my my desktop. Okay, and let it run. All right, and we'll do a refresh here. And so that should show up. So sad trombone should now work, I think. Sad trombones. There we go. Okay, so it's easy as that. I added a few if statements, but I'm using the same exact handler for all sound effects. There's no reason to create, at least not yet, to create individual handlers for individual sound effects. Maybe down the road we can tackle that. Okay, so I will check that one in. So we've added another sound effect, and that's probably enough with the sound effects for now. Yeah, so it's going to be every 5 minutes. It's going to throttle that Rudix world for the whole channel. So whoever types in sad trombones, no one else can make that sound effect happen until 5 minutes later. So we may want to change that to throttle it per user. It'll be a relatively easy change to make, I think. But I just want to do a quick time check. We're at the 2:30 mark. That's about halfway, 2:30 my time. That's about halfway through the stream time I've got budgeted today. So I think we should eat some of our vitamins and eat some vegetables and look at some unit tests today. I am starting to grow my body of unit tests. So for instance, when I created the sound effect one, I immediately created some unit tests for it at the same time. I do have some weird stuff here with Signal R testing. I might have to examine that in the future. But it works right now. The mocking works. It's just this seems kind of janky to me. This verification I have to do. I've talked to Kevin Griffin and Brendan. They both are Twitch streamers, by the way, Dev Chatter. Kevin Griffin, I think he's... I'm not sure what his name is here. Is he on this list? I don't know if he's on the live coding team yet, but he's on Twitch. Anyway, I asked them because he does a lot of Signal R stuff. And apparently a strongly typed Signal R hub is the way to go in terms of unit testing. So we'll get to that eventually. But I have tests for modify profile, for shoutouts, and for sound effect handler, which, by the way, I don't know if I've communicated this in the stream yet, but there's a command called profile, and profile was also profile shout, I think is what it is. Let's see, modify profile. So I can say profile shout. And the reason for this is we have the shout out command. So I can shout out, for instance, I can shout out Rudix World. Bang SO Rudix World. And it's going to show a generic message here to say, hey everyone, check out Rudix World's Twitch stream at twitch.tv/RudixWorld. But I want to give a little extra benefit here to subscribers. So if you're our subscriber, what you can do is you can set a shout out text to make it not generic. So I could create one for me like, hey, check out the stream you're currently on, for myself. And so that sets a message. So anytime that I get shouted out, which would be weird to shout out myself, but just for testing purposes, I can then shout out Matthew D. Groves, and it will use that message in the shout out. So hey, check out the stream you're current only, which I typoed. So this is actually the first step of a larger process I wanted to do, which is to create, everybody that comes into this channel can have, if they want to, a user profile, which contains information about them to customize their experience while they're here in my channel. So I could bring up Matthew T. Groves. Did I type it wrong? Where's my, what in the world? I know it's in there. Matthew D. Groves. Is it not how it's saved? Where is it saved? How's it saved? Modify profile handler. So this should create a, yeah, it should be username. Oh, maybe it lowercases it? Matthew D. Groves. Yes, that's right. I lowercased it. Okay, so you can see this is a very bare minimum user profile. And in fact, if you're interested, I'm going to be talking more about user profiles on Tuesday via an official Couchbase webcast. If you want to learn more about that, you can go to bit.ly/ASP.NET Session and sign up for that. I'll be live on Tuesday And you'll also be able to sign up for the recording. I'll be talking about user profiles and using Couchbase to store user profiles. But another approach to user profile is I can do right here. I can apply to my own stream. And if you want to, you can start adding things to your user profile. Right now, all you can add is a shout message. So if you ever get shouted out, you could have a custom message displayed on the screen. Now, right now, the only people who can do shout outs are subscribers. So if you are a subscriber to my channel, you can use the SO command, the shout out command. Otherwise, you cannot use it to shout out whoever you want to. But anyone can add a shout message to their profile. That's open to the public. So if you wanted to try that, go ahead and do it. Just bang profile-shout and put a little message in there. Maybe you want to talk about what you're streaming about, or why, a fun message about why people should check out your stream. So whenever you get shouted out, that message will be put to the channel by the chatbot. And so my idea is, in the future, we're going to add more customizations to your user profile. I'm not sure what those are yet. We'll figure that out as we go. So anyway, I've got a unit test for that, modify profile. I've got a unit test for shoutout. I've got a unit test for sound effect, but I've got some other commands, some other handlers here that I don't have unit tests for. So we can start to do that just to make sure everything is well tested. So if we need to go back and change things, we can be confident that they're working. We can do a refactor on those. So let's do an easy one. Let's do a help handler tests. And I am an N unit user, N unit for life. Why isn't this? What's going on here? Okay, I don't know what happened there. I used like an internal one instead for some reason. Okay, we'll do a setup. Set method, where this is just going to instantiate. Do I want to instantiate here? Yeah, I think so. The handler is a, wait. Let me think. Yeah, I want to instantiate this. So this will be a new help handler. And all that needs is a Twitch client. So we're going to do a mock Twitch client. I don't actually want this test to reach out and touch Twitch for real. So we're going to give it a mock. Mock Twitch client. I use the mock framework, MOQ. And we're just going to mock out the old Twitch client here. Okay, and then we'll do a test. So yes, these will be async. So we'll say async task. And we want to test, all help handler really does is whisper a message to a person, whoever types in the bang help command. We don't really need this console.write line anymore. I don't think that'll cause any problem, but it might. So we want to do two things. We want to test that help command will whisper help. I'm going to make this one test to the user who requested it. Okay, so there's 3 steps in any good test. You don't necessarily have to mark them like this, but I like to do it. Arrange, act, and assert. So we're going to set up some information, set up whatever orchestration we need to perform the test. Then we actually run the test. We're going to await handler.handle. And so we need a help request in here, and we're just going to pass in a none cancellation token. So we need to arrange a request. So request equals new help. In order to arrange a help, we need a chat message. In order to do a chat message, I can actually show you how I did it in other tests. Something along these lines. We use these builders that are provided by the Twitch API that I am using. Okay, with username, I need help, could be the username. So we probably want to arrange that, expected user name. I need help. This is a fake username, because again, it's not going to actually hit real Twitch. And the message is going to be bang help. Okay, so we're going to handle that request, and we need to assert that it whispers a message and it whispers it to the right person. So we're going to expect it to call the Twitch client. We're going to verify that it was sending a whisper to the expected user, and the message, let's just say it's any string right now. We may want to change that, and we're going to verify that it was called once. Okay, what doesn't it like here? Oh, optional arguments. So this is also, we also see it say dry run. Doesn't really matter. We'll just say false. What doesn't it like now? Oh, can't do that. Very, very specific about what you can verify and what you can't. So let's run this test. I expect this test to pass, but it might not. Let's see what happens. Okay, it failed. Because null reference. So where would the null reference be? It might be this console. I mentioned that earlier. Let's step through it and see what happens. Okay, request. That's not null, so that's fine. And the username is not null either, so we're good there. String builder should be fine. Twitch client should be fine. So is it this one here? Oh, that's fine. So where is the null reference exception happening? That's concerning. It still might be the console. Just going to let it run here. Okay, I don't know. That's problematic. Let's comment out that console. That might be the problem. We really don't need that console in there. If we're going to log something, it should be using a logging framework and not just writing to console. So why is this returning null? That's curious. Let's step through it again. Or not returning null, but something is null, and I'm trying to reference that null. What is that? That's not null. Username, yeah, it's there, and message is there. So it's something's happening here in this handle, and there's a null. So let's just look at this. Where would the null reference exception be happening? Let's just comment this out and see what happens. Okay, well, maybe this will just tell me where it is. Rethrow, async, await, run test method. Huh. What could possibly be causing a null reference exception here? Coming out the whole thing. Maybe it's something in my setup. You know, it doesn't really matter if it's a subscriber or not. We can remove that. I went to debug. Still getting null reference exception. So I don't think it's in the actual code. It's something in my setup. It's giving me a null reference exception. Why is that? Hmm. Something screwy here. Wait, is this supposed to be asynchronous? I don't think so. I don't think that's important. I can do that elsewhere. There's nothing asynchronous happening in here. This send whisper is synchronous. String builder is synchronous. Send whisper 2. Switch client, send whisper. Driver equals false. Let's just comment that out. See if something else is going on. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it gets this far. So there's got to be something in this handler. But what? I step through it and it goes just fine. Return default. I think that should be a problem. I wonder. Yeah, I don't think that's the problem. Well, I feel like I'm kind of stuck now. This is kind of surprising because I've been doing so well in these tests. And this one doesn't want to cooperate. Expected username. Let's see. Object now set as reference. Test method command run test method. Help handler test line 40. Something's happening here. It's confusing. 'Tis confusion. Why aren't you cooperating? By the way, I'm trying the green screen out on the stream now, and I can see that since I started the stream, the light from the window here has affected my background. There's some up right here. You can kind of see a little bit of the chroma key not working. And the same thing over here. And it's especially bad over here. That's my chair's shadow against the green screen. And I've got lights up here. They're shining on the green screen, but either they're not powerful enough or something. So, sorry about that. But I'm still kind of getting used to the whole green screen thing. And it's nicer, a little nicer than the chroma cam thing because they don't have the watermark and the edges are a little smoother. But getting the background right has been challenging. I'm going to figure out what is going on here. Request, yep. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this is failing. It is frustrating me because this is a super easy one. All the other ones are running fine, and they're a little more complicated. This one is just whispering some text. I got the Twitch client mocked out. I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah. Nothing, no, none of the nulls are jumping out at me. Message is something. Send whisper is something. Yep. Okay. String builder is not null. Twitch client is not null. Let's just see. I don't know. If I do this, has no value. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Default is null. Wait a second. That can't be right. That can't be it, can it? Okay. Confused. Confused about this. Why is default not good here? But unit.task is fine. Because unit is a struct. Is it because it's... I mean, this gives an error message though, because it's not... Okay. That's confusing. Anyway, that works now. So now we got this help handler covered. By the way, does anyone remember... I thought there was a way to show code coverage in Visual Studio at one point. Oh, I think it was only for live unit testing. I don't have that turned on. So maybe I'll enable that at some point. All right, so we got some unit tests for help handler. And I just made a minor change. We took out that console. There's no reason for that. What else do we need tests for? Say current project handler? Yeah, let's do that. Whoa, fall is in swing out there. Can literally see the leaves start falling off the trees. It's one of my favorite seasons of the year. Say current project handler tests. Test fixture. Setup. So I'm going to go till about 3:30 today, just writing some unit tests for this. But anyone still watching, if you've got questions about what's going on, or if you have suggestions for the bot or anything else, I mean, if you weren't here at the beginning of the stream, my motto is the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. So if something doesn't look right to you here, or you're confused about something, chime in any old time. I'm happy to go on tangents. Anything you're working on, you need help with, or questions. Ancient Coder, hey Ancient Coder, thanks for stopping in. It's going pretty great. We're doing a little bit of eating our vegetables right now. We're running some unit tests. Trying to put some tests around things that have gone untested up to this point. We did some exciting stuff with sound effects earlier today. This is actually the, so you can actually see if you do current project like this, you can get a link to what I'm currently working on. Working on the Twitch bot that's you can interact with right now. And we added some sound effect commands to it today, so you can try those out if you like. One of them, for instance, is for a laugh track. There's one for a rim shot, and we added sad trombones as well. So you can try any of those if you're interested in playing sound effects for the whole channel. Okay, but we're going to do some unit testing here. We're going to say handler equals new, say current project handler. And this needs two mocks, so it needs a bucket provider and a Twitch client. Yep, that's the current project. Right now, all it shows is just a URL. It doesn't really give a description. That may be something we can add later. Mock of hi Twitch bucket provider. So in this case, the bucket provider this is a Couchbase bucket provider for specifically the Twitch chat bucket that I'm storing all this data in. So I'm just going to mock that out. So you can kind of see, well, maybe we'll see some of the database mocking stuff that I got in there. Agent Coder gives me a seems good thumbs up. Okay, and this is Twitch client. What have you been working on, Ancient Coder? Something ancient, maybe some COBOL or some Fortran, perhaps. Okay, it's async task. All right, the first thing I want to test, yeah, is COBOL. I guess COBOL is ancient in the grand scheme of things. Fortran, Angular, and .NET Core. Okay, yeah, I'm doing some .NET Core here myself. Front end, I don't have much of a front end framework, unless you count SignalR. That's more of a communications layer between front and back end. Haven't introduced any sort of front end to this. I've done some Angular in the past. So Angular, see, I was mostly messing around with it when it was like Angular 2 and Angular 4. Like right around that time when Angular 4 started. And I haven't really gone back to it since. And I've done no React whatsoever. I'm not much of a front-end guy, generally speaking. Mostly do back-end stuff. Databases, ASP.NET, SQL queries, over Couchbase, things like that. It's version 8 now. Yeah, I know they started ramping up the version numbers quite a bit after version 4. Like version 5 came out really quickly after that, and then so on. So Angular 4 came after Angular 2, and so you're on version 8 now. But that, to me, I don't know if there's been that many groundbreaking changes since then. So you started learning React recently. Yeah, okay. So the last job where I did a lot of front-end stuff, it was very heavy jQuery. It gives you an idea of where I am. And I've done a little bit of Angular in my current job, little tiny bit. So not much of a hardcore front end guy. I don't have much production experience with these SPA frameworks. Okay, where are we? Okay, I want to test to see. All right. So we want to say if there's no current project, if no current project set show default message. The other thing I want to test is public async task. Show current project URL. Okay. And so there's, basically the only two tests we need. So if there's no project set, it shows this little default message, which actually right now I have no way of clearing the project. So this message is probably not going to come up very much, but we're going to test it anyway. Most of the time it's going to just say current project is and the URL. Okay, so if no project is set, we're going to do our arrange, act, and assert test here. And our act is just going to be handler.handle, request, and then a non-cancellation token. Dead end 008. One better than 007. Thanks for stopping in, checking out the current project. Just doing a little, standard chatbot stuff, but we're doing a lot of cool stuff with the chatbot. We're doing a user profile. We're doing some SignalR. We're doing sound effects, which is fun. So we're doing a mix of serious stuff and a mix of fun stuff in this project. And we're doing unit tests right now because unit tests are important. They're not super exciting. I love writing unit tests personally. I find it enjoyable. Hey, what's up, Calvin Allen? Calvin, you got to try some of the sound effects out. Test-driven development, a little bit. I'm not super dogmatic about test-driven development. I definitely see the value in unit tests. But I'm not going to be a purist about it. But definitely testing is really important. And so that's why I'm sort of catching up and doing a little bit of test after development here. So don't I don't know. What don't judge me, I guess. I don't know if the sound effects show up in help yet, Calvin, but I guess they do. Yep, and it's throttled as well, Calvin, so you can't abuse it. You can only play a sound effect, any particular sound effect, every 5 minutes at the most. Using SignalR for that, and a little bit of HTML5. So yeah, that's working quite well. I still haven't got the thing where you show up and it plays the norm sound effect. That might not happen, but we get the sound effects running. All right, so we're saying new request. This is a what is this? We're looking for, say, current project request. What is it with this new Twitch design? Is there a new Twitch design? I haven't. You know what? I think I might have noticed something briefly. Oh yeah, it's like I got my own channel running. Another window here. It looks like a different font in the chat. Different fonts everywhere. It looks like. Is that just the difference? Just new fonts? Dark mode. I don't put Twitch in dark mode unless you count Streamlabs. Streamlabs is a sort of dark mode view. Yeah, it looks like just a new font to me. It doesn't look much different than a new font. I'm not much of a designer either. Not much of a front-end designer guy at all. So I could be completely off base and missing a whole bunch of obvious design changes. But just looks like a new font to me. All right, chat message. And let me go back to our help handler test. Yeah, you're in dark mode too. This is my chat message builder stuff. Let's put this in some sort of helper. So having to copy and paste this every time. I don't know. All right. Doesn't matter what the username is. Doesn't matter. The message will be current project. Request needs to be down here. Color theme and icons have been changed. Okay. At least you can whisper. Yes, I can whisper, Calvin. Because I don't use a separate account, I think is what we determined, right? I use my own account to run the bot. So Calvin's working on a bot as well, and he can't get his to whisper. Dead End 008. Thank you for the follow. But yeah, the best thing we can think of right now is use a separate account. That's the only difference between like him and me and many others. And where speculation is that Twitch has prevented relatively new accounts from whispering, which seems like a smart thing to do to prevent spam from happening. But it also kind of puts a crimp in anyone working on bots and stuff. All right, so we've got current project, say current project. Okay, and what I wanted to do is if no project is set, I expect it to Calvin with the gift sub to Dead End 008. That's so kind of you. Thank you, Calvin. I've been rated twice already, Calvin, so if you're on one of your gifting sprees, you may want to you may want to take out a small loan. We've got a lot of viewers today, a lot more than normal on a Thursday afternoon. Let me tell you, a couple great raids today. Oh, and okay, one for Code Stencil. So, hey, anyone who's subscribed, you can now. Yeah, the rule is you have to be actively chatting. Thanks, Cowwin. Cowwin. So actually, now that you're a subscriber, you get access to my only emote right now, which is Calvin. Calvin's bada bing, bada boom emote. So there you go. And now, since you are subscribers, you have some additional privileges. You can, for instance, shout out other people with the SO command. And you can, if you want to, you don't need to be a subscriber for this, but you can set a custom message. Calvin, I don't know if I showed you this or not, but you can set a shout message for yourself by saying bang profile shout and give yourself a custom shout message. And then whenever I shout you out, it'll show that custom shout message. So I'm just going to shout out Calvin while I'm here. Check out Calvin's stream. That's the default message. But Calvin, if you want to set your own, it's a profile dash shout. is what you need to do there. Not profile shout, profile dash shout. But that would do it. And that's going to actually create a... So what you just did actually was create a profile for yourself with nothing in it. So I could show you that over here. Calvin A. Allen. So your shout message right now is null. But if you do profile dash shout, you can say Calvin is the greatest. And whenever you get shouted out, it'll play that message back. So you can put in a specific call to action, like, come check out Calvin's awesome.net channel or whatever. Yep, Calvin is the greatest. So then if I shout out, and you can also shout out since you are a subscriber. Calvin is the greatest, and there's the link. There you go. Easy as that. So if I bring up your profile here, refresh this, there you are. This is your user profile right now, Calvin. This is the start of a user profile anyway. All it has is a shout message in it. We're going to add more stuff to that profile along the way because this chatbot is a combination of serious stuff like user profiles and goofy stuff like sound effects. And oh, by the way, if you're interested in user profile, I have a webinar coming up on Tuesday, official Couchbase webinar on creating a user profile store in ASP.NET Core with Couchbase as the backing for that. So if you want to check that out, you can go to bit.ly/ASP.NET session. Notice the casing on this. Paste that in the chat there. And you can watch it live on Tuesday, or you can sign up and you'll get a recording after the fact. Seems God. Hey, no religion, no politics. I know you as a typo for seems good, right? All right, well, where were we? Unit test, yes. So I want to verify that Twitch sent this message. This is the expected message. Expected default message equals that string. So I want to verify that send message to the channel. Did I specify channel? Channel doesn't matter, so we can just say it is any string. The message itself should be expected default message, and we'll just say try run equals false. And I expect that to be called once. I think this is going to fail because I didn't properly mock. Oh, wait, what happened here? Oh, this should be it is any string. Okay. I didn't properly mock my Twitch bucket yet, my Couchbase bucket. Yep, so it's going to be a null reference when it gets to that part. Right, this get operation right here. So basically I want to set this, I want to mock this get statement to return a project result that has no message in it. Yes, I think that's what I want. Okay, so we're going to have to set up the Twitch. Okay, up here, the Twitch bucket provider. We're going to have to set up a fake bucket. Do mock of iBucket. And that's just a Couchbase interface, the bucket. The bucket over here is actually this, a collection of data in Couchbase, kind of like a database in relational. So Twitch chat is the bucket we're working with. So you can see it's got 2025 messages in it. So that's, when I say bucket, that's what we're referring to as that collection of data. Okay, and then, so we're going to set up mock bucket provider to, when we say get bucket, it's going to return that mock bucket object. All right, and then down here, we're going to have to arrange setup, that's what we call it in mock, to get. And then, that's got to be a C# Fritz emote, right? Did I say and then? Too much? Don't get me started on that. No and then. Couchbase get, and the get in this case is a current project info. Dot value, right? No, I just want this. And it's going to pass in the key. So the key is always going to be current project. What is that one? Fungineer? I don't know. You guys subscribe to some stuff, that's for sure. C# Fritz, I don't know who Fungineer is. I don't know who that guy is. I will await your explanation. All right, so this has got a return, and this is where I actually created a fake. Fake, I think is what I want, is a fake. Yep. So a fake, as opposed to a mock, and we've covered this before, Calvin, this is actually a class I created, not that's automatically generated, but a class I created that fakes out this interface. And all I care about in this case is just this value, because operation result does not have this set exposed. That's actually an internal thing that I can't set for my tests. So I created a fake in order to expose this set right here. So the whole reason this class exists is so I can set the value. And that's what I'm going to do right now. Set value equals null. I don't know what it means. It's 12:45 a.m. here, half asleep, sending some random emotes. All right, that's cool. Everyone likes random emotes. So value null. Is that what I want? Bucket.get. Actually, I don't think that's what I want. I think I just want it to be the actual result to be null, or it to be not successful. So I might want to modify this to say, to make success also exposed. So we're expanding our fake a little bit. What is this? Calvin with, Calvin subscribes to pretty much everybody. That's F. Bucheros, I think that's how you say his name, and then InstaFluff. They have some really good emotes. I probably need to add some emotes here. Oh, wow. Why is there no Readme in the GitHub project link? That's a good question, dead end, 008. I probably should do that. I don't have an excuse for that. Let's make that a to-do. Create a Readme. So we can get rid of this. And we got this SO command. So we need to create a Readme. It's a really good point. Dead end 008. How can I expect people to get started with it if I don't have a Readme to tell them how? It's a very good point. Dead end. So I will put that on my to-do list. I'm going to fake out success here. And really that's I don't need the value to be anything. I just need success to be false. So I was unable to find that document. Cool, I will check out later. Now, that being said, there are a ton of Twitch bots out there. Nothing particularly special about mine, other than, you know, some of the it's using Couchdb, which I think is pretty special. But there's lots of other examples out there of Twitch bots in action. It's kind of a rite of passage if you're a live streamer on Twitch, is to create a Twitch bot. That's what Calvin's working on too. I think Calvin's also using Couchbase, if I'm not mistaken, unless he's unless he's given up on that. Okay, yeah, he is using Couchbase. Appreciate that, Calvin. All right, so let's try this now. See if this test passes. It does not pass, so we've still got a null reference exception. Where am I null reference exception at? Did you get any further with Twitch, Calvin Allen? We were just discussing this, I think, TBD Gamer, before or Calvin came in. He's having some problems with the whispering. All right, so where is this null reference exception? I've been having all kinds of null reference exception problems. Message.channel is null. If I follow Calvin, will he donate gifted subs for his own channel to me? I probably need to specify channel. I think that's... Well, no, that's not causing the null reference exception. Is it this again? Unit.task? Is that the problem again? My money isn't on being a new account, though. Yeah, I mean, that makes as much sense as anything. It might be nice if you could verify with someone from the Twitch dev team, maybe. Or, you know, if they could tell you that in some way, like in your dashboard or something. You know, if it's restricted to whispering, you could try logging in as it, Calvin, and see if you can send me a whisper just through the normal UI. Maybe that we could verify it that way. And that chroma key is really starting to get messed up there. You cannot send, not through the UI even. If you can't do it through the UI, then it makes sense you couldn't do it through the API either. Correct. So I think confirmed. Maybe you could put in a message to whoever, I don't know, a help request to say, hey, can I get whisper permission already? All right, I need to send the channel name. Is that here with channel? Yes. Doesn't matter. The channel is. Doesn't matter what the username is. I don't care for the purposes of this test. Boom. Okay. All right, now we need to do a similar test. Copy and paste a lot of this. There is a form to ask for higher message send quotas that I'm going to try as well, to at least send in some info. Technically, you'd need a higher send quota, because right now your send quota is 0. You should email Twitch, how do you expect me to be a productive dev streamer if I can't even go through the rite of passage? One cannot stream this way. Yeah, get real angry. Get real angry at him, Calvin. All right, so in this case, I want success to be true, and I want the value to actually be expected well, let's see, project info. Current project info, where the URI equals, oh, and this should be expected URL. Don't add, I'm off to Mixer. Yeah, threaten to move to Mixer. That'll do it. So this should be a URL here. Let's use example.org. / I don't know, foods bar, whatever. New URI. Expected URL. You know, I'm still not really clear on the difference between URLs and URIs. It's one of those things where it's just like, I know there's a semantic difference. It's probably an important difference that people get upset about, but to me, I don't know, it seems like the same thing. What, the URL, URI thing? I don't know. There's something. You know, we talked about Tuesday, like the difference between fake mocks and stubs. And what was the other thing we talked about that was like, I'm sure there's a difference, but I don't know what it is. Don't get mad at me for not knowing the technical difference. Send message. Okay. I want the expected message to be. Wait. Yeah, expected message. No judgment on that one. Yeah, I know URL is not equal URI. Obviously, they're different things. They have different letters and nothing else. One is universal resource locator. One is universal resource something. Yeah, I think I've seen the explanation more. URL is a kind of URI, right? But is there in practice? Why do I need to know the difference? Current project is like that. Indicator, your universal resource indicator. Okay. I want expected message to be here. Whoops, what happened there? Expected message. Oh, a sub for Coding Gorilla. Thank you for that, Calvin. Twitch TV is your URL. Twitch TV / Matthew Gross is URI. Okay, so URI implies it's something past the TLD. Is that it? Okay, so URL is just the protocol // domain name, and then URL is that plus something some path. If that's the difference, okay, I'm on board. But a URL a URL can be a URI as well. So they're both URLs technically, right? Whatever. It's fine. Okay. So value, project info, current project. Yep. Okay, that's all good. As a dev2 blog post, what is the difference between URI and URL? So, okay, I got a little distracted. I think we're good here, though, right? So, if it's... I'm just going to step through it, just to make sure my thought process is correct. Okay. Yep, okay. And so this is going to actually return the value. Okay, good. That's what I want. It's going to send a message. Oh, it passed. Okay, passes. I did it. All right, so now we got unit tests around, say, current project handler. So let's just go ahead and just for funsies, we're going to explore all my tests, run all of them before I do a commit here. They all pass. Terrific. Look at all these green check marks. Love it. Love it. So many green check marks. Makes me happy. Alrighty, so let's commit. Added unit tests. Did I also add something else? Oh, yeah. Added unit tests. Added sad trombone sound effect. Okay. What else? Did I change something here? Oh, yeah, I added the sad trombone there. Yeah, some changes to that. Yeah, for some reason, this return default, when your code compiles without an error. What? That's not a good thing? Sad trombone. And I expanded my fake a little bit. Yep, rim shot, it works. All right, there we go. Commit and push. We're coming up on time here. Got a lot done today, actually. And some really great people showed up. Met you for the first time. Thank you, everyone, for coming by. We're going to look for a raid here. Who should we raid? Who? Let's see. Have I raided Michael Jolly in a while? Oh, I've... the Primogen... Sorksuit. I've never raided Sorksuit. Doing some JavaScript. Time for more web VR. That sounds interesting. Ancient Coder is making the case for Sorscoot. So let's just go over there. Sorscoot. All right. So thank you, everybody. I want to thank... wait, it didn't work. I typed it in wrong. Sorscoot. Okay, so we're going to start the raid here shortly. I want to say thank you to DeadEnd008, Code Stencil, Pavavera, Lamp Web Dev. Thank you for the raid, Lamp Web Dev. SG Guy 1, Rudix World. Tyler Lenhart, thank you for the raid, Tyler Lenhart. Appreciate that. Got some follows yesterday from your mom's granny. Okay, thank you for that anyway. Anyway, we're going to... thank you, Calvin, for the subs. Appreciate that. You're awesome, Calvin, as always. We'll see you over there on Sorscoot. If you just subbed, make sure to be nice and do a nice little Calvin head, the bada bing, bada boom with the raid. I'll see you over there. Thank you, everybody.